So I came here to do something I haven't done before, and that is to get some me time whenever I'm in the proximity of something that connects me to everything else. There continue to be these cat and mouse games as far as why we can't communicate with and or assist one another. And in many cases, it's because we overlook what's going on right in our immediate proximity. Just as an example, 2 people overtook me recently. I could hear them from about 3/10 of a mile away. And you can, I don't know if you got to hear them right then, but they're in front of me now. And they were talking about a circumstance involving a hard to believe scenario as to why we were having to try and slow one another down to have the correct conversation. The other day I watched a great presenter who talked about all the interruptions that occur. Like, he said there were no sirens, and then suddenly there were sirens all over the place when he started his video. Well, in this case, I always used to get a little perturbed about things, and I had to work on it. Just like we all might have areas that we can work on. Not everyone is strong at everything. I watched a show recently called Physical 100. It's pretty amazing, and it shows a bunch of people going through grueling challenges to compete with one another. And in a lot of ways, we can understand and resonate with their personas. But in some ways, I bet you if you listened to what these people were saying, you might think, I don't really agree with how that person thinks. Some of it might seem a little self-centered. But people who work that hard on their bodies should be proud, nonetheless, of how well they kept their temple of God, if, you know, we want to apply spirituality to it. But anyway, so I came out here to take in a walk. I'm seeing very few butterflies, quite a few plastic bottles. The bluebonnets are blooming here and there. And I look forward to sharing a little bit more of what I'm seeing with you. So I hope you stay tuned till the end. While I'm thinking about it, one of the other unusual things that happened during the Easter fiasco that you might have recalled from another video clip is that I recently, while I was driving over here, or sometime around then, got a voicemail from the individual who left a voicemail for me yesterday. When I called them, they were unavailable. They were having an appointment with apparently something important. And so they had to, you know, spend that time tending to themselves, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. But that person went out of their way to say, in case you didn't forget, in case you forgot, actually, in case you forgot, we were at the airport on Easter Sunday. That's what they said. Now, normally, with loved ones, friends, and family who communicate, they usually share insight with their fellow beings. Hey, I got back safe, this, that, or the other, you know. And usually that'll happen during a reasonable time frame. So they were using one portion of a snapshot of their busy day as an example of why they couldn't reach out and return all of the Easter wishes. So I just deleted their voicemail because the rest of it was probably just a part of the lie. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. I just know that there was a lie in the mix. And I've constantly mentioned test for truth or confusion, and you'll always find the correct answer. So right after the butterfly clip, I got to help two people who were trying to find their way. And they wanted to take the longer scenic route because it's beautiful today. And of the two choices, one led quickly back to the parking lot that we all came from. And so I was able to help people. And essentially that's what most of us are doing, whether it's for a paid profession or otherwise. Usually the main question is, would we help one another? So for me, in my former family, I would say, nah, we probably wouldn't. The overwhelming vote is in favor of not rocking the boat because we don't believe that it's uncomfortable or that it will cause discomfort for others. I can see who's out here on the trails today on this magnificent day, perfect for self-care and self-reflection. That's the most important part. And for us to try to gain the approval of one another, we're going to find very suddenly and fiercely whether someone would support us in return. And usually, if not always, we're either in favor of peace and all of the things that align with peace, or we're in favor of killing, stealing, and destroying. I've gone through my own trials. I've wronged in my own ways. I've acknowledged what I've done. I've forgiven myself for those things, as the Lord has, by the grace of God. And also, I've wished for empathy, compassion, and also the same forgiveness for and from the people who have been wronged directly by me and otherwise. And I do that with gratitude, knowing that every ounce, every even immeasurable component is here because of the Creator. And so all I can do is, with the tools of today, do my absolute best to try and resonate what kind of steps it might take to head in the direction of recovery. Sometimes all we have to do is remember what it feels like to be a kid once again. I'm blessed with eternal youth. Praise be to God. So there's this amazing tree. It's got just the right angle where I can sit on it. I sat here one time when I was having a pretty in-depth conversation with my father one time, and there was a coral snake off in the leaves here that I would have never heard if I hadn't been in a tranquil place. So let's see what happens here. So I had to speak sternly with my parent because it was not apparent that for them to try and catch up on answers like a week later and to pretend that they're even paying attention to what I'm saying and to treat me in the style of what could be defined as narcissism. All of these things have continued to empower the people who lived in unpleasant and unpeaceful ways in the past. Liars, essentially. And it takes one to know one. Like I said, I've been a pretty standard, Americanized, and generally educated person who had many opportunities to live in a whole lot of different ways. And right now, what I'm trying to do is to recover my health, and in order to do that, I'm removing the people who cannot seem to do anything but agitate the situation by continuing to spread confusion and lies. So that's basically confirming that my April 1st post was not a joke, and hopefully it'll become applicable to other people who are trying to learn from these experiences and how challenging it can be to recover one's well-being and peace when we don't know how to properly say no.